So I might take a little more than 3 minutes, but I promise you I'm going to keep it very short. Because already a lot has been said, and you know, what strikes me as something very amazing in culmination is that the world is almost rearranging itself. And the only way for citizens to really, you know, progress and move forward is through connecting to each other across the globe. So there's only one infrastructure that can make this difference, and that is real-time broadband infrastructure. So if the broadband infrastructure is going to be such a differentiator, it is but critical that governments, demand, companies, all are coming together to be able to create infrastructure that will sustain us for the next 20, 25 years. By the end of the day, while we are going to avail this infrastructure, let's not forget that it is really our next generation that we should be thinking about too. Our children, our children's children. So their progress and their empowerment really depends upon what we do today. So on that count, let me just give you a little bit of a flavor of what this infrastructure can do. I come from a company called as Sterlite Technologies. We are already into 100 countries. We started with building optical fiber, and we realized that optical fiber is going to be the backbone of change, of transformation, because by the end of the day, we want to ensure that data should be secure, should be fast, and should reach our phones or the person in the remote corner of the world on real time with very low latency. So today we're seeing farmers, scientists are actually interacting with each other in real time. Health has gone through a transformation. I don't know, there might be many of you who wear Fitbits, who have Apple phones, who are actually using gadgets to be able to transform their health, or at least understand what we can do better. Education of our children in the remote corners, something that they never could avail in the past, and they always had this feeling of being a little lesser than those in the metros. They actually have an opportunity that's really, really big, and that's because of data infrastructures. So by the end of the day, I mean, the time has come when it's very critical for all of us to invest in an infrastructure and invest very, very strongly in an infrastructure that is going to avail opportunities that are yet unknown to us today. So it is the only infrastructure that delivers unprecedented progress. And in fact, it is pivotal to the lives and lifestyles of people. So I want to take a second to state again that let's not forget the criticality of it. 10% of data penetration is going to bring in a GDP, but it'll also bring in cultural transformation. Exposure, by the end of the day, is something that is going to actually transform the world. But there are certain trends. There is exponential growth because finally, gadgets are being, you know, the growth in connected gadgets have gone up in a big way. Data traffic, today people are, you know, realizing the value of videos, of music streaming, and this is something that is happening real time. In a country like India, which is so diverse, we today cannot live without the internet. And I'm sure in parts of the world and countries out here, you recognize what I'm saying when I say there is food, water, clothing, there is electricity, and then there is the broadband, which is very, very critical today. So there's a need gap. There is migration taking place. Governments today, and there is 151 governments today that have rural broadband plans. And India has taken this up in a very big way because the government and the companies have responded to the challenge of this mega transformation. And with that comes actually the 5G network and technology transformations that are taking place. Today, data infrastructure is so critical even for the technology moves of 5G. We can talk about changing the face of education with augmented reality. We can actually have multiple video calls today, and in the remotest of corners where our farmers, our villagers can actually see a level of progress that is going to be unprecedented. Let's not forget that the food we eat by the end of the day comes from those lands, and if our health has to be taken into account, let's ensure broadband actually reaches everywhere and very fast. So I'm just going to quickly come down to, therefore, what Sterlite does. This is a great opportunity for a company like ours who has invested significantly on global standards on creating optical fiber and optical fiber networks. We design it, we deploy it, and then we manage those networks. And because we do all that with experience across the globe, we are able to bring those learnings back into our manufacturing setups and set global standards that will actually transform the way the networks will actually survive in the future. So yeah, we have crossed 100 countries today. We have multiple manufacturing locations. In fact, we have not only in India, we have also in Brazil and China. We serve 10% of the global demand. And why am I saying all this? This is just to put forth the fact that today Indian companies really recognize the value of high and very high quality of manufacturing. One thing that Sterlite did very different, and we are the largest in the world as far as this is concerned, is we have taken control over the end-to-end of the manufacturing value chain. And the reason behind that, and I'm talking about from silica to cake. Okay, I'm going to try to screen, and it works. Thank you. So I think we took this very strategic call of controlling the entire manufacturing chain. And the reason why we did that is we wanted to ensure that finally we create optical fiber communication networks with control over the quality of the manufacturing that will finally translate into something very simple. Let's look at this. The world is becoming denser. We have very dense population and cities. We also have tough terrains. We require communication networks to be very flexible, and it should be also, I mean, optical fiber is glass. So imagine a situation where you try to bend it because of dense environments and it breaks. So what Sterlite is doing a fabulous job of is also doing R&D and therefore manufacturing of even bend insensitive optical fiber, which will ensure low latency of the speed and the quality of the data. Intrusion proof cable. Why do I say that? There is weather, there are so many reasons why we ensure and we need a cable to be very strong. I think the net of what I'm trying to say is, let's not forget that investing in the core data infrastructure is going to be very defining to the future of our countries. A little bit about Sterlite's NOVA, which is actually very revolutionary. The important thing today is we need to lay down networks very fast. So you need products that occupy minimum space, can be done real quick, and ensure that the quality of data that passes through is of high performance. So quickly, I mean, just want to share a couple of thoughts. Today, nations are built on, of course, I mean, on various forms of infrastructure, but the pivotal infrastructure today is data networks, because data networks is real-time infrastructure that builds not only nations individually, but also connects nations real-time to each other. Let us citizens connect and transform the world. Thank you so much.